Hey guys, welcome to the Magfed Ranch Paintball channel, and today I'm going to be doing a top 5 video. But before I get into it guys, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, share, and comment. Okay guys, let's get into it. So the topic of today's top 5 video is going to be the top 5 things I hate about the Valken M17 Magfed marker. Okay guys? And just like the T15 video that I just shot, it's going to mostly have to do with some of the design, the features, some of the, I guess, just items, problems that the M17 has. Guys, we love the M17 and the T15 here at the company, but, no design, no marker is perfect. And so I wanted to go over those things with you guys. Hopefully, these videos, it will give you guys a better understanding of the equipment out there, the markers out there, and of course, hopefully give you guys a better, obviously information so you guys can make better decisions as far as which direction you guys want to go with. That being said, I'm going to move the camera in closer so I can show you guys all the features, all the things that I dislike about the M17, and yeah, we'll go into it. Okay guys, so starting out with number 5. Number 5 is on my list, is going to be the hopper adapter on the M17 on the right side of the body here. Now, as you guys know, I'm not a hopper fed fan. Here at Magfed Ranch Paintball, we love Magfed only. The only reason why this is number 5 on the list versus the T15 marker, it was number 1, is because this one literally just for a hopper adapter, guys. It's just held in with a screw here, as you can see. Once you take this cover off, you can attach the optional hopper adapter that Valken has. It doesn't do anything with the design. It doesn't interfere or create issues with the barrel mounting system. It's just a hopper adapter cover slash, feature. I like it, dislike it for just because it, obviously we don't promote hopper fed here, but also I would have preferred like the T15, just having a fake, shell case cover, right? Shell deflector, bolt cover, just something to simulate more of a real steel firearm design. And we'll get into that here shortly in terms of the design, but the M17 marker kind of resembles an AR-10 platform, and I would have just liked it for for Valken to kind of just make it more realistic instead of adding the hopper adapter here, guys. Okay, so that's the reason why it's not so high on my list. Number 4 is going to be something functional and and realism as well, and that is going to be the mag release function and magazines. I'm going to combine the two items together, guys, for different reasons. So as you guys can see here, it has kind of like an H&K paddle magazine release design. Works great. It's obviously very positive. It's very solid. As you can see there, bam, the magazines go in fairly smoothly, especially the Valken 18-round magazine. The Gryzen magazine's a little bit stiffer, just because obviously the design and the dimensions of the magazine versus the Valken. The Valken just slides right in and snaps in. I just don't like the realism of it, guys. Like I said, the M17 mimics an AR-10 platform, and I would prefer having more of the the AR style mag release instead of the paddle mag release. Okay guys, and then of course when it comes to the magazines, they're not 100% perfect, although the 18-round magazine is decent, guys. Probably one of the more reliable magazines out there when it comes to Magfed markers. But I have obviously presented to you guys all the issues with the 11-round Gryzen magazine, but also the fixes that you guys can do with the collar, like I've done here with this collar, to get rid of all the different edges, all the rough surfaces that would cause any jams or any potential issues with this magazine. I just wish that it was better made, from the factory Or, you know, if I can call Valken out, if they can make their own version of a shorty mag, just like how First Strike did with their T15 mags, right? Like they made a 19 and an 11 round magazine. I think it would be beneficial and cool if Valken made a shorty magazine as well. Okay, so number 4 on my list is kind of just the magazines that are available, and then also the magazine mag release design. Okay, guys? Okay, number 3 is going to be how the marker is just put together and assembled. Okay, guys? So the M17 design, which originally came from Milsig, has been around for quite some time. The design is very similar to the T68 from MCS, or formerly RAP4 as well. And so instead of the marker being disassembled like an AR-15, you know, with a rear and a front pin that will separate the two halves, you have all these Allen head bolts that you have to remove and loosen to disassemble the halves of the M17. It's almost very similar to like a Tipman design in that sense, where you have all these bolts and hardware that you have to loosen and reassemble to get the marker apart. And then because of that, it has a very kind of a, you know, funky, unique handguard mounting system, handguard nut system. So it has an adapter here, as you can see, that you would need to attach, you know, any AR style handguards if you like to, instead of just having a more AR correct, you know, AR-10 correct receiver. It has kind of all these kind of additional things that you have to do to mount your handguard now. And then of course, just, you know, having to disassemble it and reassemble it, it's just more time consuming, you know, more parts to lose, you know, just more things that you got to do to disassemble it and put it back together, okay? And then of course, like I said, just the realism of it all. You know, if it's an AR-10, which, like I said, very similar to the MCS 468, you know, why couldn't they have incorporated the Heatcore system into, you know, an upper and lower receiver similar to an AR-10 platform? Okay, so that's number 3, guys. It's just kind of how the M17 is put together and built, and its disassembly and reassembly process, okay? Number 2, guys, is going to be the trigger. Now, I've talked about both the T15 and M17 triggers in a previous video, guys, and the problem with the M17 trigger is that it's pretty much a single stage type of trigger, but it's also very stiff or very heavy. It's not a very light trigger pull, so we're not talking, you know, 4 to 6 pounds. My guesstimate is that it's going to be closer to 8 or 9 pounds. One of these days I will get a trigger weight so that way I can test the actual weight of the triggers for you guys on both this marker and the T15. But just by what I know of, you know, mil-spec AR triggers and just kind of how it feels, it definitely feels like an 8 or 9 pound trigger pull. But unlike the T15, where it has this slight take up and then it hits a wall, then it breaks, the M17 pretty much just is a wall, and then you keep pressing, and then it breaks, but it's not as easily able to gauge when the trigger actually breaks. And so it's just more difficult to get consistent trigger presses from shot to shot with the M17 versus the T15. And I think as good as the accuracy of the M17 can be with the Heatcore system, with, you know, the barrels, with just the things that you're able to modify the M17, if we had a decent trigger, I think that would, you know, really go towards making this marker even more accurate. Okay, so that's number 2, guys, is going to be the trigger press. Okay, Number one is going to be, unfortunately, what also makes the M17 as good as it is. And guys, that is going to be the air system. The Heatcore air system in the Valken M17 is not only one of its better features, right? One of its greatest features, but unfortunately also one of its greatest flaws or negatives, okay? And what I mean by that is the Heatcore system is very consistent, you know, because it's a blow forward system that, you know, it has pressurized air from the tank charging and setting the bolt. And when you release, press the trigger, what happens is that pressurized air, that air that is in that chamber of the bolt assembly will, that air will be used to push the bolt forward and also fire the first strike round. At that point, the spring inside the bolt assembly, the spring is what will push the bolt back and reset the bolt into its lock position with the trigger sear, okay? So because of that constant air pressure always charging the bolt, we get consistent FPS ranges from shot to shot, right? So in our testing, we've seen, you know, as high as maybe 5, plus or minus 5, but on average, we're seeing, you know, closer to plus or minus 3, and of course, sometimes lower, but we're just talking averages, right? So it's more consistent than the T15 marker because of that, okay? But the flaw of the Heatcore system is that because it has this air pressure always behind it, and the only thing that is sealing that air pressure is, of course, O-rings, right? It's literally just a rubber O-ring that is preventing the air from leaking. You're having this constant air leak. Okay, so it's you know, it's always requiring this air pressure to set the bolt, and because of that, we always have this constant air leak going on with the Heatcore. So guys, I shot videos of that where, you know, we tested how much the air is leaking out of the Heatcore system, and you know, it's about, I think, what was it? It was 13 hours, somewhere around there, that, you know, you're gonna lose pretty much all of the air in the air tank if you know, just allow the M17 to sit idle. And so that's the reason why the M17 has obviously this valid criticism, right? This valid reputation of being an air hog, of obviously not being that efficient. Consistency, of course, is definitely its strong suit, but unfortunately efficient. And of course, this air loss is one of its huge flaws. I wish somehow that they could correct that. And of course, I wish somehow that they could somehow enclose that Heatcore system into a AR-10, you know, upper and lower receiver design. Okay, guys? So yeah, that's my top 5, guys. So once again, to repeat, number 5 was the hopper adapter. Number 4 was the magazine well and just the magazine, you know, some of the magazine issues, like the Gryzen magazine. Number 3 was just how the M17 is disassembled and reassembled, just kind of how it's made. Number 2 was the, you know, the trigger press, guys. It just has a very bad trigger press. And then number 1 is the inefficiency and, of course, the air leak issue with the Heatcore system, guys. So yeah, guys, if you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button. Check you guys next time. Peace.